It is Richie Woodall and first John Rawling.
It is a who's who at ringside of the famous of show business and the fighting world. And one of the great heroes of Wales, Tom Jones, is up in the ring. And shortly he will be singing the national anthem, I'm sure, to the joy of the thousands of Welsh fans, British fans, who've made their way over here. Tremendous atmosphere. There's Catherine Zeta-Jones at ringside. Whitney Houston's here as well. Bruce Willis. Sylvester Stallone sitting directly opposite where I am. Michael J. Fox is here. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Among the boxers, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roy Jones, Marco Antonio Barrera, our own David Hay and Amir Khan. The buzz of anticipation is with us, Richie.
Yeah, fantastic. And going through all those celebrities, especially those film stars, now just tremendous. I think they missed the two main celebrities out though, John Rawling and Richie Woodall. I didn't hear their names.
Well, Michael Buffer is up there in the ring, and he gives it pizzazz like no other man. This really feels like a big fight here in Las Vegas. The chants of Super Joe Calzaghe ringing around the Thomas and Mack Centre. Joe Calzaghe will be the first one to make his way to the ring. Bernard Hopkins has been talking a great fight all week, but has he got it still as a fighter? Will he be able to match Calzaghe? Calzaghe, for me, has looked so much stronger. There you see him warming up in the dressing room, looks so much stronger than he did at super middleweight in his last fight against Mikkel Kessler.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Joe right through the build-up to this contest, especially this week here at Vegas. He seems to be revelling in the atmosphere. He's obviously been away from the strip. I think they've hired a house and they've prepared properly. And I've just seen him grow, and I really have. And also with the extra weight, I think he looks much healthier. You know, against Kessler, he looked a little bit drawn for me. It's really hard making that 12-stone weight, but now that extra 4 or 5 pounds that he's put on, he looks a much healthier fighter.
Didn't have that pinched look, did he, which he had at the weigh-in in previous fights, you know, sort of sunken cheeks. There's been none of that.
And I really believe, John, that it's got to Hopkins this week that he cannot get to Calzaghe. He can't get in Calzaghe's head. He showed no weakness this week, Joe Calzaghe. Top marks to him.
Yeah, psychologically, that's got the feeling that the man who really was affected the more was Bernard Hopkins, and I don't think too many people would have expected that.
I thought so, especially at the weigh-in when they literally had the face-off, and Hopkins was just very plain-faced, and he seemed to be getting angrier and angrier as the seconds went on, and Calzaghe was just saying a few things to him, really smiling. I thought 1-0 Calzaghe, really did.
Well, Freddie Roach in the Hopkins corner is a man who we've come to respect over the years. He was the man who trained Steve Collins. He grew out of the great background that he had with Eddie Futch, worked alongside Eddie Futch. Futch was his trainer as a fighter and then learned his trade there. If Hopkins wanted to have one man who really knows tactics of boxing alongside him, he's made a shrewd decision there, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he's brought in a superb expert, and Freddie Roach was telling us that they've brought in that many different sparring partners, literally because Calzaghe, obviously, he's got so many different styles, Joe. He can fight on the inside, he can fight mid-range, he can fight long range. They've had to cover every department. That's why they brought those different sparring partners in.
Some great quotes, haven't there? Calzaghe saying, I'm more worried about his head than his fists, and I see a 43-year-old guy who lost 4 times and not a legend. Bernard Hopkins came out with that rather dubious "I would never lose to a white boy never" statement last year. And Joe Calzaghe replied to that, stupid that a grown man should say that. And then Hopkins said this week, didn't he, I fear Allah, but no man who breathes the same air that I breathe.
yeah, tremendous stuff. They really have, the both of them, with what they've been saying. Well, Calzaghe, for me, is very confident.
The national anthem of Wales. A Welshman and a true legend the world over. Sir Tom Jones.
Are we working? It's on? Great. Are you ready? Here we go. My in blood. that burn harder and unknowingly cross rapid and talk young and walk young old free. I good old Ravel with glad God with Tramad draws ravid causeless and I was glad, you know, even glad, tramo and feel in be crossbar, oh blooded,
Tremendous rendition from Tom Jones. Let's hope that the British fans respect the American anthem.
The United States to be performed by an artist with the #1 R&B album. Knockout recording star, please welcome Ray J.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Well, I have to say, Richie, good to see the anthems being pretty well respected there. I was worried that the American anthem might have been jeered as it was at the Mayweather-Hatton fight, but there was pretty much none of it. That was very much better.
Yeah, no jeers there. It was fantastic. All the crowd respected both anthems, and that's how it should be, John. And let's just get on with a fair fight here.
Well, let's hope that it is now going to be something very, very special indeed. Michael Buffer, the master of ceremonies, making final preparations to his Let's Get Ready to Rumble act. I think Tom Jones rather enjoyed that little performance, didn't he? I gather he called off a concert, you know, to be here tonight.
Really? Yeah, well, good performance there, and what a great suit. I bet that cost a bob or two.
All around, people craning their necks to see if the fighters are on their way to the ring, and indeed they are. We see coming down the tunnel not too far away from where we're sitting, Joe Calzaghe, now 36 years old and here on his American debut. Frank Warren, his promoter, behind him, and his trainer Enzo Calzaghe, of course, his father. They've been together since the amateur days. And they're some of the Welsh fans, thousands of them who've made their way over here. And that's the roar of acclaim that greets Calzaghe as he walks into the Thomas & Mack Centre.
He looks so relaxed, unbelievable. Look at him, just looks so relaxed, just taking it all in his stride.
He's not looked one little bit phased at any moment this week. One or two people suggested to me that the occasion might get to him, but I don't believe it has, not at all.
Far from it, John.
Revelled in it.
Yeah, he really has. So we've seen no weakness from him psychologically. Look at him now, just taking the applause.
Joe Calzaghe tonight in his 45th professional fight. Hasn't lost a fight of any sort for the better part of 2 decades. Just an extraordinary record. He will need to be at his best tonight, though. I think of that we can be pretty well certain. The man against him has been himself a formidable competitor over the same duration. And there he is. Bernard Hopkins, the 43-year-old from Philadelphia, supreme middleweight champion for a decade, and now the Ring magazine and the universally recognised world #1 as light heavyweight. Who are you? Who are you? The chant goes up, but all boxing fans know that face.
Yeah, look how cool he is as well, John. Been through it time and time again. This guy is one cool operator, he really is.
The Executioner is the nickname. Sometimes he hasn't quite delivered as dramatic a performance in the ring as he has before. But there you see, as he draws his hand across the throat, that's the usual pre-fight ritual. And he says it will be a cool, precise execution.
We've got to remember he had 20 defences as well, didn't he? He got the middleweight championship, undisputed middleweight champion, 20 defences. Well, similar to Joe in that he's tackled so many different styles, but he's been beaten on 4 occasions. And that's what Joe said to us this week. This guy has shown weakness. I've never shown any weakness.
First one was on his pro debut, then he lost back in 1993 against Roy Jones. Jones on that occasion gave it pretty much a hit and run sort of display, as you might have expected, and then twice lost to Jermaine Taylor. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, by way of Planet Hollywood Resort Casino of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, welcome to the Thomas & Mack Center, UNLV. Tonight, Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, Frank Warren Sports Network, and the Planet Hollywood Resort Casino of Las Vegas are proud to present the main event of the evening. 2 future Hall of Famers in the ring to face each other in the moment the world has been waiting for. 12 rounds of boxing. This is a contest recognized by fight fans the world over and Ring magazine for the linear and true light heavyweight championship of the world. Brought to you in association with HBO Sports and sponsored by Rockstar Energy Drink, party like a rock star, Affliction Clothing, and Southwest Airlines, the Spirit of Freedom. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman John Bailey, Executive Director Keith Kaiser. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring this bout on the 10-point system: Adelaide Bird, Chuck Jampa, and Ted Gimza. And inside the ring, the referee in charge of the action at the bell, Joe Fair but Firm Cortez. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, may the best man be victorious. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with white officially, weighing in at 173 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 44 bouts, 44 victories, including 32 knockouts. He's the challenger, recognized by Ring Magazine as the universally legitimate, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, the undefeated fighting pride of Newbridge, Wales, Joe Calzaghe. Fighting out of the red corner, wearing gray with red, official weight 173 pounds also. His professional record, an outstanding one. 48 victories, including 32 knockouts, with 4 defeats and 1 no decision. He's the former undisputed middleweight world champion, now in this division, the Ring Magazine titleist as the true, linear, reigning, defending, light heavyweight champion of the world, the fighting pride of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA, Bernard, the executioner, Hopkins.
All right, gentlemen, we were to lose in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. I referee your fight, Bernard, in the past, no problem. Joe, I referee your fights in the past, no problems. I don't expect any problems tonight with a clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch him up.
Joe Cortez expecting a clean fight. We will see. Joe Cortez, of course, who is the man who refereed Ricky Hatton's attempt to win the world welterweight title rather against Floyd Mayweather back in December, and was a controversial figure on that occasion. Calzaghe against Hopkins now then, 12 3-minute rounds. The talking ends, the action begins. Hopkins, we expect to be a cagey operator, trying to draw Calzaghe in and landing that damaging right hand which accounted for Antonio Tarver. The Calzaghe camp were worried about how he tends to follow in with his head when he goes in behind the punches. And straight away, bumping and boring inside.
This is my theory here, John. You've got to watch what he's doing here, Calzaghe, on the inside with the heads from Hopkins. Hopkins will love this on the inside with the head. Anything can happen, a head clash, a cut. He'll take the chance 50-50.
Well, Freddie Roach, didn't he? He said, elbows, shoulders, head. This is a prize fight. It's all part of it. Quiet sort of opening. Oh, good right hand! And Hopkins has put Calzaghe down in the very first round. After just over a minute, Calzaghe down with a crashing right hand from Hopkins. Well, straight away, we know now that Hopkins is very, very much for real.
Great shot, straight down the middle, straight down the pipe, as they say. Perfect shot delivered there from Hopkins. Calzaghe walked onto it as he was coming forward, and the timing and the accuracy was there from Hopkins. Great shot.
Well, he talked about picking his punches, throwing precise punches, that right hand, the danger shot, and there straight away in the opening round, Calzaghe down for only the 3rd time in his professional career. Oh, another terrific right hand. The classical way to take away the southpaw's advantages. Hopkins has never lost to a left-hander. Already at this early stage, Calzaghe has a mountain to climb. And he's having a difficult opening round, to say the least.
Yeah, just being a little bit hesitant with his attacks here, Joe Calzaghe. And that's fallen into the Hopkins trap, if you like. He's decided to go on that back foot, be very, very cagey, and just nick the shot here and there, looking for that straight right hand.
The Hopkins camp said that they would be able to exploit the wide hooks of Joe Calzaghe.
There's a little bit of a cut as well on Calzaghe's nose.
Big opening round for the Philadelphian veteran. There is a graze on the right-hand side of the bridge of Calzaghe's nose. As he goes back to the corner, he looks a little bit concerned as well, he might. That is going to be a 10-8 round to Bernard Hopkins. It was a peach of the right hand that Hopkins landed.
That was a great shot. He caught Calzaghe as he was coming forward, straight down the middle. The timing was there and the accuracy was there from Hopkins.
Here we see it again. Well, that is right on the button, and it was probably that shot which damaged Calzaghe's nose.
Yeah. Calzaghe just walking in slowly, and there it is. Super shot.
Hopkins has said, I may be the underdog, but I thrive on that. I've been an underdog all my life.
Now let's see what Joe Calzaghe's made of. We've seen him in the past, he's undefeated. Got to go to a new level here.
He's got to impose himself and start to try and fight his fight. Hopkins waited for him, didn't he? Waited for him to come in, to commit himself, and then punished him.
Joe's got to keep probing here. Got to keep probing and draw Hopkins out of that shell.
Well, Hopkins is the master strategist as well, or has been for the vast bulk of his professional career. Right hand there wasn't a million miles away, and now the heads go boring in again. Hopkins trying to rough Calzaghe up in close.
If Calzaghe goes to the body with that jab, he's got to be very, very quick. That's what Hopkins is waiting for. He's waiting to deliver that right hand, remember. He's waiting to deliver it as Calzaghe's coming in. So he's got to be faster with his attacks here, Calzaghe.
Not been able to establish the jab yet, Calzaghe. Oh, another good right hand from Hopkins. And the British fans are a bit subdued here. Solid right hand from the old man of boxing. Hopkins showing himself slippery to close down. Already an awful lot of holding, and Hopkins complaining he's been hit low. And he'll be given time by the referee.
Okay. All right. Everybody's up. Let's go.
Calzaghe showing that he's capable of dishing out a bit of rough stuff as well. It's close around this one, not too much between them. No way in which Hopkins is going to allow himself to just plough forward in the manner of Jeff Lacey, though, and allow Calzaghe to throw the sheer quantity of punches that he did during that particular fight. Well, the second round was a very much closer round. Judges, 2 from Nevada, 1 from Illinois, all American for this. And Hopkins had the first round knockdown. How did he score the second one, Richie?
I thought Calzaghe just got it. I thought he was trying to force the pace. And he just outworked Hopkins slightly, I thought.
A decent right hand in there from Hopkins. He's almost freakishly well conditioned for a man of his age.
Oh, unbelievable. The guy is very unique. I mean, the tactics are plain to see from Hopkins, just sitting on the back foot, waiting for Calzaghe to attack. And then he's actually counter-attacking with that right hand, beating Calzaghe to the punch, catching him as he's coming in. And then obviously when he gets close, there's another one. When they get close, that's when everything's going, isn't it? Anything can happen on the inside.
And having had that knockdown now, the onus is on Calzaghe to force the fight, but he's got to do it in a way that he doesn't get reckless and doesn't get tagged again. Crowd roaring him on. But Hopkins landing some nice little sneak shots off the ropes. The chant is Wales, Wales. Couple of shots from Calzaghe, but that right hand came back once more from Hopkins.
You've got to remember, Calzaghe for me is the ultimate counter-puncher. His strength is in his counter-punching ability. And what you don't do against a counter-puncher is lead, and that's what Hopkins isn't doing. He's waiting, and he's waiting for that straight right hand.
Well, they said they were going to try and work to Calzaghe's body as well. Haven't seen a lot of that yet. Again, lots of holding and mauling. Joe Cortez this time ticking off Calzaghe for dragging his man on.
Good right up from Calzaghe there on that exchange.
The physical strength of Hopkins though there as he came off the ropes.
All night long, I promise you. All right? Let's go. Deep breath.
The Hopkins corner like the way this fight is going. Richie's given that last round level. But remember, Las Vegas judges. Hopkins, the American, had the first round knockdown. It's not inconceivable that these first 3 rounds on the judges' cards might have gone to Hopkins. The signs in that last round, though, that Calzaghe at last was starting to make it his fight, getting in with those right hands. You see the way Hopkins leans in, though, and ties his man up so effectively.
There's that counter attacking from Hopkins again, beating Calzaghe to the punch with that straight right hand. And what you're probably seeing now from Hopkins as well, he'll try and double that up with maybe with a left hook after the right hand. You got to remember this, John, as well. I don't care what anybody says. We're in Vegas, and Vegas, they like fighters who come forward. I watched Mayweather in De La Hoya, and I thought Mayweather had well won it in De La Hoya. He nearly got the decision because he's coming forward.
De La Hoya was the promoter. Joe Cortez having a busy time in there. Good right hand from Hopkins. And he's complaining to the referee, and the referee is now taking Hopkins to task. He's going to have a word with both of them, I think. Let's see if we can hear it.
I don't want any rough tactics. I don't want to take any points. I disqualify either one of you, understand? It's a clean fight. Let's go, time in.
I thought this might turn out to be a dirty fight. We're in the third round. It could get a whole lot dirtier. This time an arm lock from Hopkins.
He just won't come forward, will he? He won't fall for the trap, Hopkins. Calzaghe there dropping his hands, just trying to frustrate him a little bit to come forward, but he won't.
Hopkins giving as good as he gets, so as Calzaghe comes forward. A few jeers from the crowd who'd like to see this tidied up a bit. If you're just joining us, where have you been? Calzaghe was down in the first round. To a peach of a right hand from Bernard Hopkins.
A little bit better boxing there from Calzaghe at the end of this round, just maintaining that gap. Jab, and then he's stepping out, look, and then he's coming back with the left hand.
Anxious times for Joe Calzaghe. He's been taking too many shots like that. Another big right hand, and that's the one which the referee didn't like. Rightly so. Into the fifth round, and Richie's got Hopkins 2 points ahead. It could be wider. Calzaghe needs a big round.
Now Calzaghe, look, see, John, he's adapting and he's changing his style now. What he's doing in, he's jabbing, he's stepping out, then he's coming back again at the attack. So it's a first and third attack, what he's doing here. He's changing his style. That's the great thing about him, but about both of them.
Well, plan A certainly didn't work. Let's see about plan B. Already in this fight, Joe Calzaghe has been arguably set more problems than at any stage. That's his best punch of the fight so far. Good right hand from Calzaghe.
Good straight left as well from Calzaghe there.
Really good shot from Calzaghe.
Better boxing from Calzaghe in this round. He needs to keep this going, this in and out new style of his.
Key phase of the fight. Hopkins is so cute defensively, isn't he, Richie?
Just won't come in, will he? But this is better from Calzaghe because he's up in the work rate, going through the gears a little bit here, Calzaghe. And Hopkins, he's got to respond to it. He needs to keep this going, John, this in and out style. When he holds his feet, Hopkins is in this. That's where he's got to move back then, you see.
Calzaghe had to do something similar against Mikkel Kastler, against that pretty awful, was it the fourth round, but he got really tagged in that fight. Changed his tactics in that one and eventually won pretty comfortably. At this point, on our cards, he's still behind. We've got the gap narrowing on the scorecards here. I've got it just a wee bit wider than Richie in Hopkins' favour. But Richie Woodall has it by 1 round for Bernard Hopkins, who had Calzaghe down in the first. Both of them with 32 knockouts in their career.
Well, that last round was probably Calzaghe's best round. He upped the work rate. And he was catching Hopkins first and third attack. And that's what he's got to keep doing. Oh, heads went in there as well.
Enormous audience watching this across the United States. Good left hand from Calzaghe. Hopkins take, now look at that, that is not within the rules.
Now look at the referee. Why isn't the referee pulling him up there? Because that was a deliberate head in the face.
I'll tell you what, somewhere, Richie, back home, Ricky Hatton's going to be watching that and thinking, well, why is Joe Cortez allowing that to happen?
Exactly.
Again, the heads go in.
Hopkins, a master at controlling the pace of a contest. He really is.
Not seen Joe Calzaghe slowed like this for many a moon. Holding on, and the head goes in again. Hopkins landed a good right hand, but was made to pay with it with a left hook to the head from Calzaghe.
Lovely little shot there from Hopkins, left hook. As Calzaghe was coming in, it was a super punch.
Well, nearing the halfway stage of the fight here, Richie. And Calzaghe's got it to do.
Yeah. Remember what I said about Hopkins being a master of not letting his opponent box to his strength, and that's exactly what is happening here.
Huge cheers from the crowds. There go the heads again. Now at last, Calzaghe tries to open up. That's a stumble. Well, messy round, difficult one to score, Richie. So many of these rounds have been close.
It's a hard round to score, but I have to say I'd probably just go with Hopkins. But yeah, difficult round to score.
Okay, Bernard, I want a clean round. I don't want any rough tactics. I don't want to start taking any points. Give me a clean fight.
Joe, this guy's still going behind the head, too.
Well, he's saying it, he's warning him, and now is he going to warn Calzaghe as well?
Stop you or stop him? I want it for the same thing, no rough tactics. I want it for the same thing. I won't start taking any points from either one of you.
I'm telling you now, do you want him to stop you? Or you want to stop him? That's the fucking way it's going to go. That's the way it's going to go. Are you with me now? Make your fucking up to the pound here, right?
Well, I think the moments of cool composure in the Calzaghe corner have gone now. Enzo Calzaghe is telling his son in no uncertain terms, this fight is slipping away from you.
Joe's just got to up the work rate here now. He must up the work rate. Managed to maintain that gap on the inside, throw threes and fours, in and out with that work that he's been doing, especially with the jab. What he's doing is allowing Hopkins to hold, and that's mainly because Joe is falling in on his work after his jab or holding the feet, and that's just allowing Hopkins just to hold him. After that jab, he's got to pull back, draw Hopkins out of that shell, then go back at him.
Come on, guys. No clinching,
Calzaghe's got to put his punches together. Frank Black, incidentally, veteran cutman in the Calzaghe corner, has done a really good job on that cut on the nose, which he picked up in the first round, we think, from the knockdown.
That's it, step out. There you go, look, John, you see? Jab, step away, then come back.
There goes the body shot from Hopkins. That was what he promised. In the second half of the fight. And I think we're fairly safe in saying that Calzaghe is behind. Trying to force the pace in this round. So Calzaghe imploring his man to work when he gets in close and to fight his way out of those clinches.
So crafty, Hopkins, just holding, isn't he, on the inside?
He's working better inside as well, Richie.
What he's doing there, John, though, when he's holding, he's slowing the pace down. He's a 43-year-old, remember. He doesn't want a fast pace, he really doesn't. He slows it all down and doesn't let Calzaghe work.
Heads from Calzaghe that time. A little bit of payback time. Oh, Calzaghe caught with the left hand as he came out of that attack. Wide hooks, leaving himself open. That's better. Oh, heads went in there. There was a clash of heads. And Calzaghe almost sunk down again.
They just got caught with a shot right at the end of the round.
Right hand, wasn't it?
Good shot right at the end of the round there from the Hopkins.
Did he do enough to take a round there, Calzaghe?
Calzaghe took the round for me, yeah.
Feel it, he's feeling it now, Joyce, feel it now, right? But you've got to start the eights, the 3-4 eights, 3 to 4 eights.
Upped his work rate, but caught in literally the last second. Here's Freddie Rose with Bernard Hopkins.
You're the stronger man, okay?
Towel on my shoulders, yeah.
Cold towel.
It's right at the end of the round here. Joe just leaves himself open a little bit. He's looking for the shots. Oh, bit of a head, it was a head clash, and there's a right hand, but it was a head clash as well. It's the right hand that makes him go back.
Five rounds to go. The Battle of the Planet, they called this one.
I'll tell you what, John, if you didn't know how old Hopkins was, you'd say he was 10 years younger than what he is.
Oh, easily.
Wouldn't you? Unbelievable.
Easily. I covered athletics for the better part of 20 years, Richie. And Hopkins looks, he's got the physique of a runner, never mind a boxer.
That's what we need to see more of. In and out with the jab, come back with the left hand. Maintain that gap, mid-long range. It's quite clearly it's not working on the inside for Joe Calzaghe tonight.
But is he getting in with those shots? Is Hopkins using his crafty old tricks to stay out of range?
No, what he's actually doing is because Joe now and again is holding the feet. That's Hopkins' opportunity to pull him in, hold him, work on the inside, and he's getting through with his shots. Better left hand, Calzaghe.
That's better at last from Calzaghe. Calzaghe needs a big attack from somewhere. There's a good left hand, and you hear the immediate response of the thousands of travelling fans.
that was a situation where the referee obviously did not say break. They were both waiting for it. It didn't come.
Hopkins didn't like it, did he?
Well, unless the ref says break, you can hit the guy.
Another good right hand from
right.
Hopkins.
Lovely shot that was.
Last 30 seconds of the 8th round. Here's Joe Calzaghe staring possible defeat in the face for the first time. Hopkins throwing punches right onto the bell.
You won it. If you carry that's very cool, all right? You're boxing to your pace. You can't stick your pace. The guy's knackered. He's knackered. Yeah. He's throwing a left hand. You're throwing left on its own. On its own. You've got part of the combination. Where's the fucking 4 C's got on? Where's the...
It's got ice on it.
Go ahead. Let's get it there. Yeah. Oh, my head. Bernard, when you're throwing the combinations, this guy can't handle you, right? Now here, these rounds getting a little bit close. You can't want more combinations, you hear me? Right?
Well, there was one peach of a right hand, wasn't there, from Bernard Hopkins. Richie, that's the punch that's right on the bell, and a bit of kidology from Calzaghe. Don't read too much into that. The quality shot of the round came from Hopkins, that right hand. But was the greater work rate with Calzaghe? Did he narrow the gap?
Yeah, I think so. Again, there's better work rate from Joe in that last round. Calzaghe got through with some quality shots with the single punches, the odd shot on the inside. But Calzaghe's going forward, forcing the fight. Yeah, I thought he got that round again.
Hopkins' mouth, I think, his bottom lip's gone. Joe Calzaghe told by his father Enzo, he's knackered. Step it up. Fight at your pace.
I don't agree with him. Combinations. Force this man to work.
That's a good left hand.
Oh, yeah. Good straight left there from Calzaghe. Make him work, because this guy, he will feel the pace.
If you take a American slanted view of this, it could be that Hopkins is still 2 or 3 points ahead. It's not impossible.
They're American judges, John, which I think you've said they are. He could be 3 or 4 rounds up. But I've got it a lot closer.
Hopkins not working as effectively as he did earlier on. I think it may just be that Hopkins' mouth is hanging open, showing signs of tiredness, rather than that bottom lip being gashed. He's looking to hold on at every opportunity now.
Well, I think he's been doing that from the word go, John, to be quite honest with you. But it would appear more now that he's doing it because he's getting tired.
That's the right hand of Hopkins, still dangerous. Calzaghe takes it well this time though, and now bullying his man back. He has got a remarkable fighting heart, this Welshman.
Now, Hopkins here is constantly holding, and he should be getting warns now off the referee. Constantly holding. You watch when they come close. Look, holding again.
Referee telling him not to hold the heads. Calzaghe's clearly landing more scoring shots in this round. Hopkins on his bike again, trying to sucker Calzaghe in. Well, he clearly outworked him in that round, I thought, Richie.
Yeah, I've got it dead level now, John.
Your combination, grab your combination, and the jab got land. Land the jab, he's got fuck all in there now, right? He's doing the same old pattern now. Rat-a-ta-ta, rat-a-ta-ta, follow the box. Where he goes, rat-a-ta, bring the big, spin him off, and bring the uppercuts in. You listen to me, Joe, you listen to me, Joe. You want the next 4 rounds in big style. Big style. I think this guy's ready to be knocked out. Trust me, trust me, trust me.
Yeah, listen, well, let's tell him how to do it. Listen, now when you move your feet up to him and you're making him use his legs, you've got to punch with him, okay?
He's gone away,
All right, now come on.
You understand?
Yeah,
he's not you stopping you punching.
Come on, Joe.
You're 3 on your knee.
Hopkins a little bit slow up his stool. And the second slow out of the ring. We've still got a towel in that Hopkins corner, but now it's removed. Well, Calzaghe being told that they honestly think that he's there to be taken out now, Hopkins. They think that he's tiring.
Yeah, but he's got to watch it as he's coming forward here, John. He's still got to be cautious in his approach, Calzaghe, because Hopkins is terrific tonight with this right hand. He's got to watch he doesn't leave himself open as he's coming forward. That's better, in and out with the jab.
Well, that, I don't think, has gone down terribly well with the American crowd. So Sylvester Stallone on the far side of the ring, holding his hands up and berating Calzaghe and saying, come on, come on. I do think Hopkins is making it count for all it's worth, mind you. Be interesting to see a replay of that. Here we go. Well, it's low, but it's not bang on target.
Well, it was low, but was there a lot of force there from the shot? It didn't
I do
seem
think
like
Hopkins is making the most of it. Well, he's been given time. He can have 5 minutes under the rules if he requires it. And all the time, of course, it buys him a bit of time to regroup.
Yeah, the body language doesn't seem too good from Hopkins. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, well...
It was low, wasn't it?
It was low, but there didn't seem to be, wasn't there? You certainly wanted to knock apart the glove.
Hopkins still grimacing, Calzaghe waving to the fans and suggesting this one is now going his way. Well, he's still making it pay, isn't he?
He's allowed 5 minutes officially, isn't he?
Now the action underway once again. According to the timekeeper sitting to my right, still more than 2 minutes to go in this round. Calzaghe didn't have a point deducted.
Good right hand again, Hopkins. Great counter-attack in that. He's just beaten Calzaghe to the punch there.
Well, Hopkins has taken his little breather and may come back now with renewed vigour. There's the head clash. Well, Calzaghe dropped his hand, invited his man to come in, and Hopkins duly obliged.
Now Hopkins is changing tactics here, slightly coming forward. If that's the case, then Calzaghe must start throwing more left uppercuts, bringing him onto that shot.
Hard fight, this one. A lot of the rounds difficult to score.
Such a cagey guy, Hopkins. He really, really is.
Now Calzaghe tries to unload in close, but Hopkins giving as good as he gets.
This is where he's got to watch it, Joe, as he's walking forward. This right hand from Hopkins.
Good work from the American.
Stop!
Well, Hopkins started the first minutes of the round really well, but after the break, or rather Calzaghe did, but after the break, Hopkins came on strong. And Ritchie gives the round to Bernard Hopkins.
Towel.
He got the towel on you.
RB. That was you. Lorenz.
One little bullshit.
Left hand, you're concerned defence only. You're boxing his style. Defence only first.
I reckon Calzaghe's got to win all 3 rounds here, Ritchie, to be certain in any shape or form.
Okay.
The last 2
Well,
rounds.
2 rounds rather, I beg your pardon.
Needs 2 big last rounds, doesn't he?
He's got to win big from here on in.
I mean, it was a low shot, but really, there wasn't a lot of force there, John, was there? I think, he took full advantage of the 5 minutes.
I think the fans took a bit of a dim view, the American fans, of the pelvic thrusting which followed. Got to win these last 2 rounds big, Calzaghe. So long undefeated, Joe Calzaghe. For the first time here at the higher level against a man who's been described as a throwback. Anto Calzaghe imploring Joe, his son, to throw the jab, stick the jab, double it up, that's better.
A good shot from Calzaghe, but he also got caught with a shot there as well. Little sneak right hand again from Hopkins.
The knockdown, remember, in the first round is going to be a 10-8 round in Hopkins' favour.
Looking to hold again, every opportunity, Hopkins.
Hopkins showing strength to come back out of that corner and shook his head at Calzaghe as much as to say, well, you tried to get me there, you tried to throw those hooks, and I came back throwing them myself. Calzaghe has not been able to just intimidate. Oh, what's all that about? I didn't see a low blow there, was there one?
Oh, I didn't see, he's just directly above us, so I don't know.
He had his back to us from where we are commentating.
Well, if the referee didn't see, he should just say box. Yeah, there you go.
Oh! And now things start to really open up in a dramatic 11th. Last 10 seconds. Hopkins protesting against the low blow, which never was, according to the referee. Well, for me, that was a round for Calzaghe, Richie. I don't know how you'd score that one.
A tough round to score. Volume of punches, Calzaghe. Quality shot, better right hand from Hopkins. Man going forward again, Calzaghe. Yeah, might just been enough.
Against the fucking water. Fucking don't get it. It's out. It's over. You don't win this round. It's fucking over. You've got to stop him. You've got to stop him.
Well, they're saying he's got to stop him.
This is the last round.
Now here. Go out there and own the guy.
Very good. So, win the fight.
All right, go out there.
You're winning the fight.
Now let's finish strong. Let's finish strong.
Could still be in the balance in this last round. People all around the ring are saying, how have you got it? What's the score? Well, Richie's got it, Calzaghe, by a round. All I'd say is that I think that Calzaghe's definitely got to win this last round.
Well, a lot of the rounds have been close, haven't they? Calzaghe's the man who's keep coming forward. Hopkins is doing the holding. However, he's landed better straight right hands, definitely throughout the contest. Better shots, but Calzaghe now, for me, he's just starting to outwork him. And Hopkins is looking to hold every opportunity.
"44 professional fights Calzaghe's had, and that proud undefeated record is very much on the line here. Trying to carry the fight now to Hopkins. Outwork his man. Right hand again from Hopkins. He almost turned his back on the Welshman. The judges, Adelaide Bird from Nevada, Chuck Giampa, he's been around the block for a while, and Ted Gimser from Illinois. They're the men who'll sit in deliberation, assuming it goes to the final bell.
I'll tell you what I would say though, John, you know, this referee, I remember Ricky Hatton and Mayweather, and he wouldn't let Hatton literally work on the inside, wouldn't let him hold at all or anything like that. Tonight here, he's let Hopkins hold all night long.
Yep, he's let everything go. A minute to go, less than a minute. Hopkins trying to get on his bike, taunting Calzaghe as he stepped back. Well, it's been a messy fight in a lot of ways. Certainly no classic. Interesting, the clash of styles was always there. Easy, easy, the British fans chant. But I think it's been anything but.
Been awful, really.
Well, Joe Calzaghe thinks he's won it. Punches continuing after the bell, and both men celebrate. Calzaghe, for me, took that last round. Well, you've got it for Joe Calzaghe by a couple of rounds, Joe.
Rich, you've got it?
Yep, you've got it two rounds to Joe, Richie.
I have, yeah.
And I've got it pretty much level. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a split decision.
Level, which way are you going, John? Never mind level. Who you got it by?
Barry McGuigan back in the studio. Have you got it?
115, 113, Calzaghe.
115, 113, Calzaghe. That tallies exactly with how Rich has got it. Thanks, Barry. Anxious, anxious wait for Joe. Remember, he was down in the first round.
John, you've said it, you know, about these judges, the American judges, and
one round.
They could have Hopkins up
No,
3 or
2
4
rounds, but only. Sorry, it's only 1 round though. It's 2 rounds. It's 3 rounds, but only 2 points.
Come on, over here, they like a man coming forward. It's Vegas, man. They like to be entertained. They like to see a guy coming forward.
Americans.
Yeah, they do, yeah. But, you know, Calzaghe's the one who's been going forward. They've been close rounds, but he's been forcing the fight. Hopkins has looked to hold most of the contest. Landed with some good right hands, yes. And he's made it, you know, he's made a fight of it. But for me, Calzaghe's got it.
Joe's girlfriend, Joanna, who you saw at ringside there, and one of his young sons. Calzaghe celebrating. Bernard Hopkins still thinking he's got it. I reckon it's close. I reckon it's close, Richie. I wouldn't be at all surprised on a split decision.
The body language there from Frank and Joe. I mean, they're both just, he's just given him a peck on the cheek, so...
well, they reckon they've got it.
They think they've got it. They think they've got it.
Calzaghe started the celebrations. It's got to be a tight one either way. And in just a moment, Michael Buffer is in position. Calzaghe certainly thinks he's got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, by way of the Planet Hollywood Resort Casino of Las Vegas, we go to the scorecards. Adelaide Bird scores it 114, 113 for Bernard Hopkins. Ted Gimza scores it 115 to 112 for Joe Calzaghe. Chuck Champa scores it 116 to 111 to the winner by split decision from Newbridge, Wales. Recognized by Ring Magazine as the new champion of the world, Joe
Celebrations begin. Aggression has paid. The judges went for the man who forced the fight. And Joe Calzaghe has got off the floor in the first round to win this one. Scores again of 114, 113 to Hopkins. And then 115, 112, 116, 111 to Calzaghe. Chuck Giampa, the most experienced Las Vegas judge of them all, scoring it the widest in Calzaghe's favour. There's Joe's son. There were a few tears down there when that verdict was delivered, and he has prevailed. He had to battle, he had to dig deep, and it was close, I tell you. You couldn't have argued had it gone the other way, but Calzaghe has maintained that remarkable undefeated record. The story goes on here in Las Vegas, and we'll hear from both men, I'm sure, in not too long. But for the moment, we'll go back to the studio. Joe Calzaghe is triumphant, Paul.
And we can hear them, John, shouting, easy, easy. And for me, that is the funniest thing I've heard all year. Barry McGuigan, how did you score it?
I scored at 115, 113 Calzaghe, but I wasn't confident. It was a poor performance in general by Joe. His jab wasn't working. He was wide open when he walked in. He was square on like I hoped he wouldn't be. He was nailed in the first round. It was a dreadful, terrible start. But like the winner that he is, he pulled it around.
Sorry to interrupt you. Let's see if we can hear from our American TV colleagues here.
I don't know. To be honest, I found it really hard tonight. You know, he caught me in the first round. I think I slipped, but I had to dig deep. You know, Bernard's a great fighter. I knew that before the fight. He was wide, it was very difficult to pin him down, so I just had to let my punches go, and it was a hard-earned victory. But I just love to say thanks to the fans, all the fans that come and see me. I love you all, thank you so much.
Joe, it seemed around the fourth round at some point, you started doing your thing where you drop your hands and have that kind of frenetic movement, showing that you felt more relaxed. Is that something that you do to psych yourself up, or is that more a reflection of how you're actually feeling at that moment?
I think it's just a reflection of how I'm feeling. You know, obviously I got caught early, so I was a bit wary of his right hand, you know, and he was very defensive, so I just had to be patient. But in the fourth round, I started to loosen up, and I felt I was getting stronger as a fight. I knew it wasn't going to be pretty, but the win's a win, and I thank God, and thanks so much. I'm so happy, so happy.
You said you felt you slipped. It was a clean knockdown. Did he ever hurt you in the fight?
Oh, we just said I slipped. No, I'm joking. He caught me with a flash knockdown. It's only the third time in my career I've been on the floor, and I got up, and what great champions do, I just went on with my business, and like I said, I'm so happy right now.
As you did against Chris Eubank many years ago. Later in the fight, towards the end of the round, he seemed to hurt you with a right hand. How close were you to going down at that point?
No, seriously, I was only hurt the one time. Well, the way he was only hurt was a flash knockdown. He didn't really catch me clean, so after that, I can't say I was really hurt.
Later, I'm forgetting the round, but he complained of a low blow and was demonstrative about it. The crowd seemed to not believe that he was actually hurt and thought that he was buying time. What do you think?
Well, look at the replay. It must be the phantom punch, but you know, he's a wily old character, Bernard. He's a great fighter, and I think the pace was getting to him a little bit, so he done everything he could do to take a rest.
Where does this rank in the toughest fights of your career? Where does this one rank?
Yeah, I'd say it's one of the toughest fights in my career. As I felt I had energy, but it was very difficult to pin Bernard down. I knew that. You know, I like fighters coming to me. He was very wily, very clever, holding on the inside. You know, listen, the guy's been around so many years, and you just said to me that I land more punches than any other opponent, so I'm pretty proud of that.
Joe, Kelly Pavlik is a big middleweight. Roy Jones has been campaigning for a shot against you. Lots of big names out there for you to fight. Who's the one you want?
I'm not sure. You know, maybe I'm the legend killer. I just finished Bernard Hopkins, maybe Roy Jones. We'll have to wait and see. We'll sit down. I'm just having a good rest with my family right now, and take some time out, and then we'll see what the next step is from there.
Congratulations, Joe.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Back for more reaction at ringside shortly. Steve Bunce in the meantime.
Well, I had it 3 rounds to Joe, but that's only 2 points. But if you look at Chuck Yampa's score, he had it 9 rounds to Joe. 9 rounds to Joe.
How has he done that, Steve?
Well, I'm with Enzo Calzaghe. I thought Joe was 1 round or 2 rounds up, only 1 point up going to the last round. I think he needed a last round. And what I'm stunned at is that why any of us are really amazed. Hopkins fought the Hopkins fight, and he just didn't quite get it right tonight. Or one judge said he did get it right. I think it would have been an injustice had it gone to Hopkins. But I think it was as close. 2 of those scores were exactly what we expected, Paul. They're exactly what we've been predicting all week long.
Calzaghe also said, Barry, sorry to interrupt you, I don't quite know how I've pulled that off.
Yeah, well, it did look, I mean, his dad said at the end, and I think it was just to pump him up. We got
okay, we'll come in. Let's hear from Bernard Hopkins.
Early in the round, I knew I was busting him up, and I was just storming. Freddie Roach told me, just take him into deep water, pick him off when I want to, and let him run into the shots because he come straight forward. I mean, it's clear that the world know and the fans know, other than the Brits, know I won this fight, and I made it look slightly easy, but look at my face. I'm not bruised up. I don't have a bruise. I bust him up. I hit him with short right hands, and I controlled the pace like a true veteran. Tied him up when I want to, walked him when I want to, and picked up rounds when I need to pick up round.
But Bernard,
I think it was an execution of the old school technique and everything, and he was throwing punches and missing. He was missing a whole lot.
Okay, according to CompuBox, he landed more than anyone's ever landed against you. It appeared early many or most of those shots were in fact not landing. Later it appeared that they were landing. Were they landing?
Well, they wasn't landing like you expect they was landing. I mean, if he throw 5 punches and 1 or 2 hit, I mean, of course 2 was landing, but I never got hurt in the fight. I never got hit with any big shots that I hurt him with. I dazed him and hurt him a couple of times. Hit him down the first time. The world's seen it. See, one thing about boxing, the fans are the judges. Yes, they got officials, they got judges, but at the end of the day, the fans know that I put a gutted performance on. I have nothing to be ashamed of, and they know I'm a true champion. I took a guy to school that's undefeated, that give people problems, and I made him fight my fight half of the fight. And I think I won the fight unanimously.
Okay.
No question.
The world also saw a punch that did not seem to land in a debilitating spot. You reacted as though it did. The crowd seemed not to believe it. You're looking at me incredulously. Here it is. Let's look at it here and describe what you see and what you felt at the time.
Right there. He right there.
Yeah, but right there looks just below the belt.
Right here where his sign is at. Right here, right on this patch here. That's my crouch. I mean, I ain't gonna ask you to feel it, but it's right there. I mean, you pointed out, you set yourself up with it, but that's what he hit me right there. And it sort of knocked my private outside my cup. And that's what Cortez, I told Cortez that, and he gave me 5 minutes. So, I mean, it's clear. I'm glad they got videotape, and I'm glad you pointed that out.
Bernard, no one disputes that you're one of the very greatest fighters of all time at any age. What you even did today is remarkable, no matter who got the decision. But the question is, will this be it for you? What are your plans?
Well, I'm going to talk to my partners, Golden Boy, talk to my wife, and just sit back and let the fans marinate this in their mind and show their disapproval. But you know, one thing about boxing, the fans are the judges. They got eyes, they can't be fooled, they can't be swayed. And they seen a 43-year-old throwback do a boxing exhibition, take this guy to school, and made him look amateurs.
Well, throwback maybe, but in any era, very few fighters have ever done what you've been able to do. Thanks for another top performance, Bernard.
Thanks, Max, and thanks to everybody in HBO.
Jim.
He has a case, surely, Bernard Hopkins. The question is whether he might fancy continuing his own career or maybe having the opportunity to put the record straight if he is feeling aggrieved against Joe Calzaghe. Those questions we'll go into in more depth after the break, and we also hope to get another chance to speak in more depth to the winner. Yes, he did win it. Split decision. Joe Calzaghe still unbeaten. You know, we've spent too many nights like this seeing our best brave, but ultimately bested when they've tried to come to terms with the best in the world in the United States. And tonight, Joe Calzaghe has prevailed away from home. And the most extraordinary thing of all is that he was down and all over the place, Steve, inside 90 seconds of this fight.
Down in the first round.
Could you make this up?
No, you couldn't. I mean, down in the first round from a great shot. He just looked too casual. We've been saying it all week. We said it before he got in the ring.
Don't square up.
And that
cut him too.
Don't square up. He's standing. That's the shot that does it. Now, it's an interesting punch, as Barry points out, because it actually it connects with his, with his nose, but it actually the point of impact is about 8 inches beyond his head. That's a heavy shot he takes.
Yeah.
And I don't think, Paul, I don't think he came round for about 4 or 5 rounds. You were, and I saw you scribbling down.
I didn't give him around until the 4th.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? Again, talking about all the times we've seen the best of ours going over there, can you think of anybody who's been in a worse position after the opening round, Barry?
Well,
I can't think of one ever.
That's why he's the winner. That's why he's the champion of the world for 10 years or 10 and a half years, because he can come back from a dreadful start like that.
Yeah.
Be terrible. Lost the first by a 2-point margin.
At the end of the second round, we heard Enzo in the corner saying, Joe, you are boxing his fight.
Yeah, you're boxing his fight.
As Steve has suggested, he took so long to come to terms with the task tonight, didn't he?
And he never jabbed. The whole way through the fight, I think his dad screamed at himself, get your jab going. But look in that, terrible start, he still turned it around.
How did he do that, Barry?
Because he desperately wanted to win, and he pushed Hopkins back from the very start. Now, we didn't win the first 3 rounds because there was effective counter-punching from Hopkins. But from 4 rounds on, he dominated. And although the punches weren't landing very cleanly, and a lot of them were scrappy, he forced the fight, and Chuck Giampa obviously just looked at his aggression, and obviously his eyesight's not great either, but he just forced him back, kept on top of him.
These are late moments in the 4th round here, Steve.
It's when he's starting to turn it around a little bit here, because he's actually thinking a bit more there, even though his hands are down. Now, just the thing about his hands, and we talked about it beforehand, we didn't want it to change anything about the way he did. Well, part of what he does, whether we like it or not, and we know it's not what we want to teach our 11-year-old kids who want to box, is that his hands are low. That's where he gets that whole thing. And he hadn't done that in the first 3 rounds. He was unresponsive in the corners, Barry, until about round 5. But at least in round 4, we saw it there, he starts to drop his hands, he starts to relax.
Would you say, Steve,
and I think that throws
4 up
Hopkins
through
a little
about
bit.
9, that Calzaghe did dominate that section of the
Yeah,
fight?
definitely.
Dominated without winning cleanly. He was nicking the rounds, Paul, possibly.
They weren't clearly won. None of the rounds were clearly won. That's why Hopkins was convinced that he won the fight. That's one of the good clean punches landed. But the rest of them were all cuffing punches, not landing cleanly. He was spraying shots at him, not really hitting him. And the dad said in the early part of the fight, "Joe, are you with me?"
Yeah.
"Joe, are you listening?" Because it seemed like he was still in a daze for those first 3 rounds. He just wasn't focusing. But when he got into the fight in the middle rounds, I felt he initiated all the attacks. He tried everything. He forced them back. And I know that they weren't clean landed punches, but still, he was doing the work.
And nonetheless, Steve, in the latter half of the fight, maybe around the 10th round, when Bernard Hopkins had that personal problem for a while,
such a vicious shot.
Did you feel that Hopkins was wilting under the pressure? The older man was starting now to fade.
Fun enough, in the 9th round, we all thought that. We thought Joe's won the last 2 or 3 here. Then what happens in this round is that Hopkins comes back after this ridiculous low blow. The punch is low, but it's not a low blow. And then Hopkins comes back, I think, to win. But
he used the moment to his advantage.
Yeah, he took 3 minutes off.
The funniest thing of the night was Richie Woodall being amazed by some of the tactics that Hopkins used. We expected all of this.
We expected all of it, and he tried to do it again in the 11th. He tried to gain himself a few minutes, but Joe Cortez was having absolutely none of it. I mean, listen, you got to sometimes look at big fights like this, and you got to judge them not harshly, but you got to tell the truth. And the bottom line is, Joe went out to Las Vegas. He'll get on a plane tomorrow with a nice check in his back pocket. One judge didn't think he won. Okay, one judge thought he just nicked it by a round, and one judge, I think we all agree in this studio, got it way wrong. Enzo Calzaghe, what was the quote at the start of the 12th round?
But that was just to motivate him. Come on, he said to him, "Look, you need to knock him out, Joe, to win this fight. You need to knock." But the reality was, he was just trying to get him up to have a big finish because he knew it was close.
What about the referee tonight, Barry?
I thought the referee, you know, in a Hatton fight, he wouldn't allow Hatton to work close. He wouldn't, he couldn't or wouldn't stop Hopkins tying him up on the inside and you know, working away on the inside.
That's his stock in trade, in fairness, though, isn't it?
Who's that?
Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah, well, that's what we all knew that was going to happen. We'd hoped that that Cortez would be fair and would stop him, and he gave him 3 minutes, 4 minutes off, and he knew that was a facile punch. It just tapped the top of his cup. Yeah. It's a great protector there. You won't get bruised or hurt by that. He took 3 minutes off, and that's why he was able to win the round, because he was fresh when he started again.
And I think, in all fairness, with regards to Joe Cortez not acting, I think if Joe had done what Floyd and Floyd's corner did from the moment Ricky tried to get inside, they're pounding on the canvas, Floyd's making faces. Joe made faces about 2 times tonight. If Joe had been making faces in about round 5 or 6, when we thought he was pulling ahead, perhaps Cortez would have handled Hopkins differently. But Joe hardly complained. You never saw once Enzo Calzaghe screaming at the referee, whereas you did see with Roger Mayweather going ballistic. The old Black Mamba was going nuts every time the round was over.
Bottom line, Joe Calzaghe has turned it around tonight in Las Vegas. It's a fantastic win. We're still trying to work out exactly how it's come to pass, but we will savour it again.